And we have our guest. We've been waiting. He is here.
Jerry is in the building.
Only.
Can we take?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's hear from Jerry. But look at the wide shot. Look who moved.
Look, he's pouting over here.
Look who's being
Tyvus, stop pouting, will you?
Come out of your shell.
It's not right. It's just not right.
Let it go.
It ain't right.
Jerry, how you doing?
Thank
you for joining us.
I'm happy to be here. I feel like you guys dragged me into a bit. I didn't know it was happening. I walked in, but you're taking it well. You're taking it well.
Jerry, your wife.
Is he?
He'll be all right. He'll be all right. Your wife is from Cleveland, right?
My wife was born and raised in Cleveland.
Wow.
Yeah.
We both met out in LA like 10 years ago. We moved
Right.
back here about 3 years ago.
You live here full time?
I'm here.
Oh, I didn't know that.
In the street, like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm living. I'm eating the pizza. I'm here.
Are you an East Sider or a West Sider?
I still don't quite know what that means. I'm south of here. Also, directionally, I'm a mess. I'm still on.
Fair enough.
I'm still I'm on Google Maps everywhere.
People from Brooklyn don't know directions. I'm like that too.
Everything's numbered.
We don't. Yeah, everything's numbered.
Yeah, right.
And the streets are you got Avenue B. You drive up Ocean Parkway, and
I guess I'm south of here.
Okay, fair enough.
Give it to us straight. Don't give us the PR answer. Oh, I love Cleveland. Like, give us your real gut feeling of being a Clevelander.
I love it. We've been together 10 years, so before we even moved here, I've been coming here. Every holiday, every Christmas was here. So I built a good friend group, and as a huge sports guy, it's one of the best sports cities, I think, in the country. And I've had great conversations for years with Clevelanders about the team. So that's why I was a little confident to move here. I had a crew already. I had a little bit of a base, so it wasn't like I'm...
You had an entourage.
I had a little bit of an entourage, although these days, it's more kids than actual friends.
Right. So when you talk to your New York buddies, I know what they say.
Oh, yeah.
Cleveland, bro, what are you doing in
They
Cleveland?
still say that to me 13
I know
years
they do.
later.
Listen, when I lived in the Northeast, when I would come home, they would act like I was living in the pit of the world. But when I would tell people that I was from Cleveland, they would say, wow, you're one of the lucky ones you got out. So what do you say to them?
I love New York. I love my New Yorkers. My family's still there. But all I say is, I guess I enjoy the space and not living in a tiny apartment for $1 billion a month. That's one upside. There's a lot of upside here.
No traffic.
Look, the winter we could it is what it is. Accept it.
Right. Food scene?
Food scene's great here. I think you have to look a little harder to find it. In New York, you just kind of walk and it's all in front of you. But I have my list. People handed me
I want
lists.
your list, bro. I think our viewers
Pizza's
want
like
your
the main thing.
What's your favorite pizzeria here?
I feel like I'm gonna get.
No,
I don't want to alienate. I have a top three.
No, you won't.
Hey, here's the thing about
I do it all the time.
We keep it absolutely
I'm about to say,
real.
you had to just tell it like it is.
We say it sucks.
No, you don't have to say a bad place, but what's your favorite?
This is no insult to my number 2 and 3, but my number 1 currently is Il Rione.
Yes.
They're very good.
That's it. Well, the guys that own that place are from New York.
Yes. And that's why everybody loves it, though. I mean, even whether you're a New Yorker and you've had East Coast pizza or not, it's just so good.
Il Rione's the best. Is the best pizzeria here. There's no.
Do they deliver?
No, you got to pick it up.
See, they're not playing with you. You got to go in.
We get 50% off Grubhub. Does Grubhub?
DoorDash. Whoa.
DoorDash.
If you're gonna
DoorDash.
Hey, I'm about to say, you better get it right.
You can sponsor. I'm sorry.
Speaking of sponsors, real quick, Jerry, while we have you, you just launched a new multi-stream on all your things. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Do you want to tell the people about the multi-stream before we get into everything else in your career?
Yes, as we know, it looks like it's resolving now. The big strike out in Hollywood with the Writers Union and the Actors Union.
Solved, right?
The Writers Union seems like it's
they
made
solved it yesterday. Now they got the vote
preliminary deal. It's got to be ratified, which I had to figure out what ratified fully meant. Which means we got to
look that up before I vote.
But I just was getting so bored, and I just love sports and the countdown to football season, so I just needed a forum to talk about it with my friends and stuff like that. But this setup, I gotta say, is way better than being in my basement doing a multi. This is way better what you guys got going on here.
Hey, Jer, anytime, bro.
Yeah.
No, not anytime. Not anytime.
He's only here twice a week.
Monday, Thursday,
He's only here twice a week.
You know what? Let's get on the calendar together. So I don't want to overlap.
Yeah.
I don't want to overlap.
Now you're a big Giants fan.
I like this guy.
I'm a big Giants fan.
But guys, what not everybody knows is you were sitting with Aaron Rodgers at Knicks playoff games. So did he try to talk you into switching off? I know you won't, but did he try to talk you into the Jets?
No, it was, and back then that was what? Was May, game 2, Knicks Heat. So it was still, it just happened. It was 2 weeks. I don't even think the guy had a place to live yet at that point in New York. So no, I got to say, we nerded out on basketball, and Sauce Gardner was there too. We talked hoops for, an hour and a half, and then just had some New York talk. No, I don't think he's trying to convert me, nor did the fan base need me. As we know, it was the summer of the Jets, which is
it was.
I went away
sad
quickly.
but true.
Yeah, that lasted about 2 snaps.
Yeah, I do feel bad though. Normally, I don't. It's an injury, so you got to give them. You got to give them sympathy.
Sure.
Can we get to the real conversation? We need to understand. We got to get to this entourage and power thing.
Yeah.
I came in when I don't be reading my text messages. They was just like, we got a big guest coming on. I said, Proctor's on? Proctor in the building. Let's go. Listen, I'm like, he be hiding a gun for Ghost and everything.
Listen,
and I totally co-signed what you did to your ex-wife on that thing on Power. You should have got her up out of here.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
Listen, but so when it comes to like people approaching you, is it Entourage,
Turtle, or Joe Proctor?
Which one?
Well, the recency bias, of course, leans to Power because Entourage at this point, next year, Entourage aired 20 years ago.
That's
20.
impossible.
I was 23 years old.
It was one of the first premium cable shows.
Yeah. That was like, it was basically Sopranos, Oz, Sex in the City, and then Entourage was the next in line. So recency-wise, it's definitely Power. And if I had to say, too, I think Power just had a bigger fan base overall because when I'm in New York, I'll be on one street and someone will come up to me and say, Turtle, and all this stuff. And Entourage fans are a little more handsy. They put hands on you. Like, come on, you got to take this picture with me.
Don't touch my body.
They want to smoke a joint with me. I'm like, I don't know you like that, man. Sorry. I would love to, but I also, I don't know. That could be laced with God knows what.
Yeah, good call.
But then I'll cross the street, and I'll run into a Power fan, usually a little younger.
Yeah.
And they're just like, Entourage? No, they'll say, oh, I love your work. I'm like, what? Entourage, Power? They're like, what's Entourage? And they're only Power fans. I mean, the Power premiere for the season finale was at Madison Square Garden to give you an idea of what the fan base is.
What was that like for you, growing up where that's your mecca?
It was surreal. I still can't believe it to this day. And 50 and Snoop performed
I
before.
was about to say, you talked to 50.
There's a 2-hour concert before the show.
That's crazy.
And they brought us on stage to introduce the episode, and I still, never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would have a moment like that. So Power's been incredible. And let me tell you, Power fans too, they'll let you know. You were either loved or hated on that show.
You was loved.
And some people want to be hated. It's fun to be hated on that show.
Yeah.
I feel like I was loved, and it means something to me.
Yeah,
you know what? I'm glad you said that. You or Davis McLean? Who can get somebody out of a jam better? You or Davis?
So look, first of all, love Method Man. I grew up in Brooklyn. I used to go to Staten Island Mall just to catch a glimpse of Wu-Tang. I'm like, oh, I heard Wu-Tang's at the mall. Let's go see. You got to go with Proctor, man. They've done this vote online, and I feel like I've won it. But
man, Proctor used to hide the weapons. He knew the indictment was coming. He said, Angela, you got to get rid of Angela. She was playing out. I know you like her.
See, I think Method Man once said, Proctor was a rat, right? Because he was caught up in flipping on Tommy. But if you really break it down between Tommy and Ghost, Proctor was just loyal to Ghost at that moment.
Yes.
If he was flipping, it was on Tommy, who put 9 bullets in him anyway. So I think he had cause.
How you miss, man? You had
just doing this, doing this.
It's not as easy as they make it look.
Let me tell you too, on that set, you get a lot of training anytime you're handling a weapon, right? And that's still, even though it's blanks and all that, it is never good to be on the other side of that, even for acting. But the one thing the armor, they call it, was like, look, just don't do the thing where you try to throw the bullets.
Yeah.
And I did it. If you look back, I did it. I couldn't help myself. It's like you need the extra 2 miles an hour.
That's why you missed. Jared, how did you get into this?
Oh man, we really got to go back in time. I got to say, for me, it was always a love of TV and movies. While a lot of my friends growing up, even at 15 years old, were getting into trouble, going out to even clubs and doing all that stuff, I was just watching movies and TV shows.
So you knew early on?
Yeah, it brought me to another place. I don't know. Maybe I was trying to get away in my mind from some things growing up in Brooklyn. But yeah, it was a love of TV and film. I always say I could have easily been a grip or a DP or an editor and been just as happy. That's how much I just love it. I just love TV.
So what was what's your training? How did you? What were the steps from you deciding as a young kid that's what I want to do to you being there at a very young age on a huge stage?
It happened pretty quick. I took some classes in a community college in Staten Island, not far from where the Wu-Tang was.
Okay.
And I had taken this acting class because I heard the teacher gives you an A if you just show up. And this dude failed me the first term.
Wow, it's like the coach for Michael Jordan.
Other people who barely showed up passed, and I remember talking to him like, I'm actually over here trying. He's like, that's why I'm failing you, because I want you to take this class again, because I actually think you have some talent.
Wow.
And he pointed me in a good direction of some plays, and I did a lot of that stuff. And an agent scouted me out and said, move to LA and I'll represent you. And back in 2000, it's like, oh yeah, it's Hollywood talk.
Yeah.
And I went and I visited LA and I signed the deal and I told my mother, Mom, I'm leaving. She's like, okay, sure. And all my friends, oh, you'll be back in a week.
Yeah.
And that was 23 years ago. And I never.
It's hard. Like when you hear those stories, it's like, wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
But for every one of your stories, Jerry, I played baseball 20 years ago in Jersey with a guy, Panzarella.
Sure.
He's had probably 20 little roles in a lot of these, similar shows to you're on now. But he has been grinding at this for 20 years. And he's very good, and you would recognize him, but he hasn't gotten that big break yet. What has to happen for is it luck? Is it skill? Is it right place, right time?
That's the hardest thing, because and I think it even equates to what you guys are doing here. Like, so often I get asked like, what's a good strategy? And that's the hard thing. There is no great strategy. I can't say, hey, if you do this, this, and this, great things will happen. Because so many people do those things and nothing happens. I did get asked one time though, coming home from a shoot, I ran into this dude on the street and he was like, what's like the easiest way to get into... I'm like, right there, you made a mistake. You said, what's the easiest way?
Yeah, there's no shortcuts.
Come on, man. There is no easy way. But man, when I was a kid, you just don't know any better. I would get like a 2-day acting job, make like $2,000. I quit my job in the restaurant, like at a half baked. I'd be like, F you, F you, F you. I had $2 grand, I'm rich. I live off that for a little bit, and then I go begging for my job back after like 2 months. I'm like, have my job back, please.
Wasn't King of Queens, was that your first?
That was my first.
I love that show. That was so funny.
It still holds up today.
Leah Remini, yeah.
Kevin James.
I was just talking with her on Twitter. She posted something about that show, and that was the show. That was the job that got me into SAG. That was my first speaking part on television. And I quit my job right after I got that part. I worked for 3 days.
You were one of Kevin James's entourage, right? What was your role?
My role was, for lack of a better word, his character was on strike with the fake UPS, whatever it was, and he took a substitute teaching job. I was 20 years old. I looked like I was 15, so I was playing a high school like sophomore.
Wow.
At 20 years old, busting his chops.
Jerry, I got to ask you this. So, Entourage is one of my all-time favorite shows.
Appreciate that.
And thank you, and you were great on that. I don't know why I'm saying thank you. But
thank you for his work.
I did not buy Turtle being able to pull Ronda Rousey.
Okay, at that
I
point,
think she was she
Shots
was
fired.
above his league.
See, I always heard that with the
Here's a UCLA girl.
Go back before the UCLA girl. My character dated Jamie Lynn Sigler from The Sopranos,
That's right, yes.
who was playing
That's
herself
true. Yeah.
on the show.
Yeah. Right.
I think even there were rumblings amongst the writers like, can Turtle ever get...
No, it's all. I'm
We
just
were
busting
dating in
balls,
real
but
life.
Yeah. Oh, you were?
Yes, so I can't say I would. I think I'm more charming.
He shut all that down. He's like, I got real life.
Did you ask her if Tony was killed in that final scene?
I didn't. We might have broke up before that episode aired. I'm not quite sure. I have my own theories. But as far as the Ronda thing, I think if you look at it, I think we tried to play Ronda as maybe rooting for the underdog a little bit, and Turtle was
No,
always
I'm
the
kidding.
underdog. No,
But
it's a great question.
it was-
I often ask myself, this is not believable at all.
I mean, you
pulled it off.
But you had Gabrielle Union and Think Like a Man. You just doing
Also,
it big.
That's true. That's impressive.
I forgot about that.
I almost turned down that movie because I said, there is no way anyone's going to believe that I won't marry Gabrielle Union's character.
Right.
She wanted to get married, and I was like the shy, I don't want to put a ring on it guy. I'm like, no one's going to believe that.
You jump at that.
That's such a good movie.
Everybody say it turned out to be a
jumped
really
at
great
That's
movie.
funny.
What's the role that you want or a role that you read for that you didn't get?
I'm a little sad because I at some point wanted to be in a sports movie where I could have played not maybe even an athlete, but just like the scrub on the bench that gets one at bat or something.
Right.
Those days are behind me. I was at one point going to play Arturo Gatti. That's one I wish happened.
Wow.
That's my favorite fighter of all time. I was in excellent shape and 10 years younger.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. So that's always the one that kind of got away from me. But now I'm looking at coaching roles. I think I'm now graduating into high school coach, stuff like that as I get older and older.
Yeah. Do you still keep up with the guys from Entourage? Are you guys all buddies?
Kevin Connolly, who played E, called me when I was backstage just now.
Oh, that's funny.
Because we're talking about meeting up and playing for some golf out in the West Coast. So, it's like a family, man. And some guys you talk to more consistently than others, but, if I ran into any of them or anyone called me, I would drop whatever. Those are my brothers at this point,
I read a quote from Kevin Connolly in which he said, "You are the most unlike your actual character." Do you believe that?
I think so, because if you look at the Turtle character, he did not know he was not the best looking dude in the room. He did not know he was not the most athletic guy. He just had this irrational confidence. And me, I'm sort of like,
dude, you're a good-looking guy. What are you talking about?
But what I'm saying, I just expect nothing. I expect nothing, And he just shot his shot with every woman, and he just lived that life. He had no problems living off his boy. I could never do that. So And I didn't enjoy it as much when I was younger, man. Like, those guys were going out a little bit more than me. I was trying not to screw it up. I was on don't get fired territory. Like, I'm going home after work.
Because you were pitching yourself, right?
If I go out, I'm going to mess this up. I'm going to get into trouble and mess it up.
Me and Tyvis be talking about that the other day. We not going out, Tyvis.
Yeah. But even at the end, you guys were on forever. You were still like that?
Once we sort of got to, the show did 8 seasons. Once we got to maybe season 5, and it was real job security, and the show was a hit, and there was a bunch of awards and stuff, I did enjoy. I don't want to say I didn't enjoy it. I did.
Yeah.
And I stepped out a little more. But man, if Turtle was in my position and he enjoyed himself, the character enjoyed the position they were in. I did not enjoy it.
Did you find that when you did go out, people expected you to be Turtle when you were out?
I disappointed a lot of people. I disappointed a lot of people. Especially with the, take a shot, smoke a joint, come on, we're gonna party all night. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm going home.
They know you as that guy.
Did you hang with the real Turtle? Were you guys hanging or not
really?
So
there was a few different versions. That's something that gets thrown around a lot because it was loosely based on Wahlberg. Yeah. But then when you see Adrian Grenier, who played Vince, he's definitely not Wahlberg, on a physicality level as well. Sure. So there was a couple of people who claimed that Turtle was based on them. So, but we did meet.
Gotcha.
There was a real Johnny Drama. He was Mark's trainer, I think, at one point. We met all those dudes early on, and then we were on autopilot after that.
McNuggets, what you got?
If we're talking Entourage, could I ask 2 Entourage questions that me and my college buddies who binged that show about 5 times have always truly wondered?
Just recently rewatched it.
Okay, I hope I can answer them for you.
Okay, first, this one you will know.
Okay.
Are Drama's calves really that small?
So, look, Kevin Dillon, who is the best, one of the greatest guys on earth, he was pissed off about that. It was a weird storyline. We all thought it was a weird storyline. Sure enough, though, fans loved it. They thought it was hilarious. Kevin Dillon has really good calves.
Wow.
Like giant calves. They had to shoot around his calves to make them look smaller. That's how big his calves were. And, him being who he was, is like, this is ridiculous. I have to pretend like my calves are small. Kevin Dillon, in real life, great calves.
That is funny.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
What's the second one?
That one, that's going to make a lot of my college buddies happy. Yeah. Jerry, I'm really curious. How did you guys settle on Bobby Flay to be the celebrity to steal Ari's wife? Because it's the perfect decision because he's so innocuous and not a big name. But
what you mean in the cooking world? That's Bobby Flay.
No, I know, but compared to Ari in the show, Bobby Flay was the perfect casting choice to be the one to steal Ari's wife. How did Bobby Flay get chosen as that celebrity to steal Ari's wife?
So I can't say this 100% because I was not behind the door when those decisions were made, but I remember when the decision was made. Number one, there was always a list. At that point in the show, people were calling us to be on.
I bet, yeah.
Early on, first 2 years, we were begging for cameos. Sure. And there was a few people I remember from those first 2 years that came on and supported and came on to have fun. A lot of based on Wahlberg's relationships too, and the real Ari's relationships. But that was at a point where we had a flowing list of people. So I think Doug Ellen just said, who would be a great counter to Ari and that big personality, and it was celebrity super chef Bobby Flay.
That is so good.
And Bobby wanted to be on the show and came on and leaned into being the opposite of Ari.
Right.
And also, that year, Bobby Flay beat me in a fantasy Super Bowl, so I'm still pissed off now.
How many leagues are you in?
I'm off of fantasy. I'm in one league.
It's a big league, right? Is it the big one with Jerry O'Connell and Julius Randle still? Or are you out of that league?
That's the one. I just got out of that one because, first of all, too, you hear that, oh, you want to be in a league with NBA players? Sure. It's high stakes. Great. And then you go, oh, wait a minute. Those guys make way more money than I've ever made.
There's high stakes and then there's NBA high stakes.
I think my high stakes are okay, and then you think NBA high stakes, but luckily it wasn't crazy at all. But no, I'm down on fantasy as a whole, and maybe it's because sports betting. I think I just like betting more.
Yeah.
I've been betting since I was like 12 years old. That's how you learn math, I think, in Brooklyn. Is
you go to a
all
bookie.
New Yorkers know how to bet.
Yeah, we go to the bookie. You know?
That's it. That's how we learn.
Yeah.
We're gonna learn math.
Or the sheets. Remember those sheets? Those football.
Yeah.
The bookie sheets.
Yeah.
You check the winner.
That's right.
What's your best betting story? Either win or lose.
Well, I just had a pretty good one with the Steeler game because I had a nice little parlay and I needed a Freiermuth touchdown and fell asleep and woke up at 2 a.m. to pee and saw that touchdown. So that parlay hit. That was a good one. We actually hit a good one. This is not, it's sports-ish betting. We shot an episode of Entourage at the racetrack. And I think it was actually the Yom Kippur episode. And it was a real racetrack in San Diego. So we were betting and we hit a 77-1. We all threw up some money. And I think it was because the horse was from Ireland and Dylan and Connolly like, it's an Irish horse.
Gotta go.
Let's take the Irish horse. And I think that thing paid out large.
Wow, 77.
I might still have cash from that.
You're a Yankees fan, right?
I am,
So
yes.
Yankees, because usually Yankees and Giants go together.
Yep.
So has it been? Is your wife a big sports fan?
She is. Since we have kids,
Yeah.
her sports watching has declined while mine is trying to hang on for dear
Right.
life. But no, she beats me in heads up fantasy
Yeah.
leagues. We do FanDuel and DraftKings and all
Right.
that stuff. She beats me regularly.
But in the last year, the Yankees played the Guardians last year, and of course the Cavs. We embarrassed themselves against.
Don't
the
even
Knicks.
bring that.
So did you give
I
her
know,
a hard
we've got
time? Were you
no
nice
bragging
about
rights
it?
in either of those.
So,
Yeah.
okay, this is great. I did not come up with this phrase, and my buddy Ben Lyons did, but I think it's totally relevant. All Cleveland teams are my team-in-law, right? What
Yeah,
that
right.
means is,
I like that too,
What that
yeah.
means is,
You inherited them.
if they're not head-to-head with my team, I'm all for it. I want my in-laws to be happy. Life is better when they're happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it's Knicks Cavs first round, and let me tell you, living here, all my neighbors, everyone was all over me, very cocky that the Cavs were going to destroy the Knicks, and I just, we'll see. Well, yeah, maybe you probably will. And then as they're winning, I'm playing the straight man. I'm playing it cool. I'm actually throwing out the first pitch at the Guardians game tomorrow night.
Oh, nice.
Really? That's
and
awesome.
I'm terrified.
No,
Because,
don't.
Nah,
well,
you do good.
we threw out the first pitch, me and the other guys from the show, years ago, Dodgers Stadium, Dodgers Yankees, but there was 4 of us at simultaneously, so we didn't throw off the mound because there was 4 of us.
Okay.
I met a buddy to throw yesterday, and let me tell you, at 43, 60 feet looks a lot different than it did 10 years ago.
You'll get it there. You'll
You
get
just
it.
can't
Did you see
bounce it,
Stephen
right?
A? Did you see
Of course.
Stephen A.
I mean,
bounced
like,
it? Yeah.
This is the mistake.
But that's good for him.
It is good for him, but I expect you to whistle a strike right in there.
Now you're putting the pressure on him.
No,
here.
I have talked to him. I know he can do it.
We threw out the first pitch, and they told us, you 2 fat guys, stand behind Jay.
Yeah.
Now, he threw a strike because he pitches.
Right.
And so we took the strike.
He's got that muscle memory.
We took the strike for him.
I think the harder I try to throw, it's like golf, right? The harder you swing,
Yeah.
that's the bigger margin of error.
You're right.
I might just coast one in there.
So before you go, it's tomorrow?
Tomorrow, my
Okay.
kids are going to be on the field.
Oh, this is critical.
Terrible.
If you embarrass yourself.
Why did I say yes? I want to back out.
Give him advice. Give him advice.
Usually, it's the nerves that get you.
My hands are already shaking.
But
by
you
the
know,
way.
listen,
Yeah.
you've got the nerves thing settled. You're an actor, for crying out loud.
And if you tell me what to say, I can say it.
Okay, so
you can't tell me how to throw a strike, and I'm going to do it.
You are auditioning for a role as a pitcher.
That's funny. Cause
That's
tomorrow.
good advice.
That's
Listen,
funny.
So put yourself in that mindset, and before you go, this is critical. Talk about the muscle memory.
Yeah.
Before you go, find someone to play catch with.
Of course, that's already been
Measure off
negotiated.
the 60 feet.
Yes.
And throw 20 times.
I got a big question for you there.
Yeah.
Because I haven't thrown off a mound since I was 10.
That's okay.
Does the ball drop or does it sail
No,
off a mound?
it will fall with you, so the ball will come down as you come down.
Right.
But don't
So I got to give it a
bounce
little. But I got to give it a little height.
You know what?
Pitch out.
Here's
I'm
how
thinking
you do
pitch out.
it. aim for the catcher's chest.
I'm gonna aim for his face.
That's fine, because it's all in line. It's all in
that's
line.
what I did.
I can't wait to see this now. I'm going to put this on Channel 3 tomorrow.
There's a chance I'm gonna cancel and just be.
No.
I mean, I'm not
do
gonna
that.
cancel, but my process is I will pretend I'm canceling up until I'll be in the stadium and be like, I think I can still get out of this. Right? I think I can still walk out.
You gonna use?
Tell them that
My mom's.
they don't
gotta fly to New York.
They don't let you warm up before you
No.
do that.
No, you not
Not from the mound.
Well, you know
no.
what? I threw out the first pitch a couple years ago for the Indians at the time. Mine was high.
But that's safe. That's
Yeah,
good.
it was-
That's
you
good. I'll
know,
take
it was
high
a
right
little bit
now.
high.
Sight unseen. I'll take a pitch out right now.
As long as the catcher catches it doesn't matter.
So
yeah.
let's
Don't
talk
throw it
about
in
the
the-
worst
don't
ones
throw
in
it in the
history.
dirt.
Curtis just texted me.
Cincinnati mayor.
50 Cent.
Gary Delabate from Howard Stern.
Oh, 50
50
Cent.
Baba Booey.
50
It
Cent.
looked like he threw with the wrong
The
hand.
worst
that-
one, though, is where
He
some
was-
dude sails it over the catcher's head and there's a photographer
Hits him in
behind
the-
home plate,
yeah.
hits him right
What's
in the crotch.
the track guy.
Carl Lewis.
Carl Lewis.
You
yeah.
gotta take
This is great, guys. Thanks for
Yeah,
let's
why are you
go.
telling the
Let's
bad
go.
ones?
This is
Hey,
the
thanks
thing.
for this.
You can take
Curtis
this.
Danberg from
You
the
can
Guardians
either-
just texted me and said, "Do not let Jerry back out of."
Oh,
the
Curtis.
He's doing it.
Curtis,
You are in,
he's
Jerry.
there.
He'll be there, Curtis.
in.
Don't
This
worry
is
about
bad because I forget everyone in Cleveland's going to see this and they're going to
That's
know
right.
if I back out. It was so
done.
it was so preemptive.
You either can make this an audition where you say, I'm going to go out there and prove that I could have been a pitcher, or you
Yeah.
can take this and say, I'm about to go viral.
You didn't play in
today.
high school?
I stopped playing baseball when I was about 13, and the real thing I'm scared of is I never really learned how to throw overhand. I threw underhand because I played second base, so
Oh,
I just
wow.
kind of just
So you
would
dropped side.
You know,
That's
just
okay.
little-
Look,
I never
however
had an arm.
hey, maybe that's your shtick. You wind up and you drop down and sidearm it.
That ain't
However you need to get it there.
3/4.
I ain't even had
I
no
just
drink.
think I might just literally take. I'm not going to go full check the runner versus all that
Throw a
garbage.
pick off,
Shake
Jerry.
the signs.
Just
Shake the
I think I'm just
Well,
going to casually just
So that's
Yeah,
tomorrow,
yeah, yeah.
in there,
right?
you
You're
know?
doing that tomorrow. So Thursday we
We'll-
have to
we'll
show
run it on the show
Oh, yeah,
Thursday.
yeah.
We have to
Okay.
show it on.
Why did
Yeah.
I open up my?
Nah, you're going to do
big
great.
mouth?
I think he's going to do great.
I got an acting question. Like, sometimes when we do all this stuff, you kind of scope out, who's good or who's not. I like that take. He's kind of good. He has conviction. Who's the biggest actor you were on a set with, and you were just like, man, this dude is great. This dude is awesome.
Well, the thing that stands out right away, and I still don't know how I got cast in this movie. You talk about things you dream of that come true. I got cast in this movie called Las Vegas, which was like senior citizen hangover. It was De Niro, Morgan Freeman, Michael Douglas, Kevin Kline. They go on a bachelor party in Vegas. And I was like the young, De Niro knocks me out in the movie. Jeez. No actor wants to be knocked out. You want to be knocking people out.
Right.
But if you're going to get knocked out, that's the guy to do it.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. We're getting ready to do a take, and he's such a nice man. And we're getting ready to call action. It's like a bit of a stunt. And De Niro's like, wait, hold on, Jerry. Your shoe, tie your shoe. De Niro's telling me to tie my shoe so I don't trip.
Yeah, right.
So just seeing those guys after all these years and hearing Morgan Freeman talk about his grind of this casting director when I, never casted me when I was in my 20s. You think Morgan Freeman's been in my life my whole entire life as just
sure.
And to think that he was out there grinding, struggling, going from audition to audition. It's just, it was humbling. And they spelled my name wrong on the chair. That's how I knew this is, every actor gets their chair with their name on it. And I couldn't wait to take this picture with my name next to that chair. And they spelled it Jerry Ferrara. There's 45 R's in my name. I'm like, yo, we got Google. We got Google.
Yeah,
Just, it's
it's
like 2
not that
seconds.
hard.
A D-T-R.
Mike, we got a game we want to play.
We
with
do have a
Jerry,
game
right?
we want to play with
Okay.
with Jerry Ferrara. Jerry,
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard of the game maybe once in your life. FMK.
That's Mary
Yeah, this is
We're
a
not gonna
cleaner
play that.
version. This is
Okay.
a
We're
cleaner
not
version.
playing that. We're doing the sports version.
Okay.
It is
Yeah.
keep, cut,
Yeah,
trade.
okay.
Keep, cut,
So
trade.
3
yeah.
options. You got to keep one, you got to trade one, and you're cutting one. It's the equivalent. 3 options. You give us each of these, and we have one tailored to each of your favorite sports here. So
Okay.
we'll start with football.
Okay.
How about the 3 quarterbacks from the illustrious 2004 draft class? Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Phil Rivers.
Remember, he is a Giants fan.
I'm starting Eli Manning. I'm cutting Rivers, unfortunately. I'm sorry. What was it? And then I'm benching Roethlisberger.
Keep, cut, trade.
Keep trade.
Keeping
You're cutting
Eli.
Ben.
Keeping Eli. It's keep, cut, trade?
Trade,
Okay.
yeah.
Keeping Eli. Trading Ben. Cutting Rivers.
All right.
Wow. Very definitive answer.
Yeah.
It's the right answer.
I think it's right
I think
too.
it's the right
right.
answer.
It is the right one, especially for that. All right,
Wait,
next
Ben
one.
got 2 rings too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Eli's got 2 MVPs.
We're going baseball next.
Eli's more likable than Ben.
As a Yankee fan, Jerry, keep cut trade. Derek Jeter, Aaron Judge, Mariano
That's
Rivera.
impossible.
Ooh, this is
How do you answer that question?
This crazy.
That is crazy.
That's hard to be thrown out by his pitch.
No disrespect to Aaron Judge. I'm going to start right there. I'm cutting Aaron Judge. No disrespect, though. It's a terrible question.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
terrible.
This is like.
That's awful.
Which
Bad
one
job
of
out of you.
Which one of your kids do you like better?
Yeah,
Is that
right.
up next? Which my
Deion Sanders ranks him.
Look, this is crazy. I'm gonna say I'm gonna cut Mariano and keep Jeter. That's crazy, but that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I hate all of this.
Yeah,
Don't-
it's terrible.
Your answer's right, though. I mean, Mariano's pitching an inning every 3rd game.
Right.
I mean, but he's the best.
But he's the
about
greatest
to say-
closer of all time.
By the way,
Jeter.
By the way, Yankee fans are so crazy about baseball. Like New York fans are so crazy about baseball, like Browns fans are here about
Yes.
football.
Yeah, absolutely.
That when I was on the Fan from 2007, 2011, I remember there was this one week where Mariano Rivera had a bad week. He blew 2 saves in a week, like which never happens, right?
People were
and
yelling
there were
at him.
fans calling the show saying maybe it's time to move on from Mariano. Like that's how nuts people are.
So you did say you could talk baseball 12
Year round
hours.
in New York,
Yeah.
yes. Baseball's
That's
huge.
true.
Yeah.
And baseball, which I still love, but is one of the sports it's hard to keep up with as much since having 2 young kids. Like I had to sort of give up some things, and it was like UFC late nights and baseball in July. Unfortunately, are the 2. I just can't stay awake from some of those
trade.
main events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Baseball got traded.
Yeah.
MMA
This
got
man still has spreadsheets. I don't know how the hell you
Well,
got that.
I'm saying that's why.
Yeah.
And he's got 1 kid.
Yeah.
It's
I only
that
got
second
1
kid
kid,
that
that's
pushes
true.
you over the edge.
Yeah.
That's very
Fact.
true. Very true.
You know,
That's a
My
fact.
son
Like,
does
my
all this
free
stuff
time.
with me. He does it all with me. Go ahead, Mike. Next
Moving
one.
on to the Knicks one. There weren't 3 great Knicks that I could think of
in modern years.
Man, you're so passive aggressive.
in the modern era, at least.
You're right,
So I
you're
went
right.
with small forwards, including Carmelo Anthony. 3 all-time, or very good, maybe not all-time great small forwards, but Carmelo Anthony, Paul Pierce, Tracy McGrady. You got to keep one. You got to
Oh, I
cut
thought you were
one,
going to put
gotta trade
Patrick
one.
Ewing.
I thought Ewing would be
Not
on
that
there
he's a
too.
small forward, but go ahead.
But you're so rude because now you're questioning. Like now it's my fandom versus what my eyes. Tell me.
I'm actually interested to hear this one.
Yeah.
It's called good content.
Because one of my favorite players
Look,
is on there.
I gotta keep Paul Pierce. He's the only one with a ring out of the 3.
Yeah.
It's
Okay,
hard. I don't
true.
want to. He's not my favorite of the bunch. So I'm gonna keep Paul Pierce. I'm gonna cut Melo. I'm gonna trade
I
McGrady.
respect that.
I didn't want to do it.
Hey,
I
Tracy
didn't wanna
McGrady
do
was
it.
my
your
favorite as a
your
kid.
sports fandom has been validated. That is a
I
very
respect that.
That was hard. That
The
was
New
hard.
York Post headline is going to be Ferrara
Cuts Melo. Wishes they had Paul
cuts
Pierce.
Rivera
Yeah, right.
or trades Rivera.
Yeah, that's right.
That's crazy.
Put
Yeah.
you in a real bad situation.
right.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
worry,
yeah.
the seat's safe. I ain't
Yeah.
coming back. The seat's safe.
Mike,
we got
you
two
got
more,
another
Jerry.
one.
Two more.
Wait,
Two
I
more,
want to.
yeah.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
This one is based not on their acting prowess, but their athletic prowess. So these are guys that you've worked with throughout your
dude.
career.
yeah.
Based on their athletic
He's funny.
prowess only.
Okay.
How about Wahlberg,
Okay.
Kevin Hart, and Sakura? Based on their athletic prowess only.
See,
you
this
put him in
is tough
another tough
because Shakura, who played Tommy, was a good boxer coming up as a kid. He boxed a lot of those years in Chicago. Look, all right. Oh man.
Kevin Hart was
And
on the
Kevin's a really good athlete, but he's been getting hurt a lot. I've noticed.
Yeah,
A lot of
he's getting older.
injuries.
he,
Stop
was
sprinting.
he was in a wheelchair the
I'm gonna
last time
go
we seen
keep
him.
Wahlberg because I've played hoops with him and I've seen him dunk. Like he's got freak athleticism.
He can dunk.
At one point in his life.
That's crazy.
At one point
Billy
in his life.
Hoyle.
I'm gonna keep Wahlberg. I'm gonna cut Joe, and I'm gonna trade Kevin Hart. Again, don't feel great about any of this. And Joe boxed like as a kid a lot. He's a good athlete.
You put him in a tough spot.
Sorry, Tommy. We got you up out of here.
And he
You're
killed my
outta
character,
here.
so I had to take
It's
it.
because he killed. Yeah.
At least I
Mike,
got to hit him back.
Don't we have a pizza one?
And this is the last one. It's a pizza one. So,
Okay.
Jerry,
New
we
York
know your
pizza.
favorite pizza place is L&B Spumoni Gardens.
By the way, when's the
Correct.
last time you were at Spumoni Gardens?
Probably 5 years ago.
I
think.
went a year ago.
You still holds
I
up?
didn't think it was quite as good as it was when I was a kid. It's still good. Spumoni Gardens is an odd pizzeria for Brooklyn because it's upside down pizza.
Yes.
They're famous for their Sicilian
Yeah,
pizza.
you don't get slices there.
What
It's
you
like
mean? What,
hardly
like-
ever.
I don't get
It's a
that.
square pie.
Cheese on the
It's
bottom.
thicker than a traditional New York, but not a thick crust,
That's
but thicker.
lasagna then, right?
And yeah, the sauce is on top. It's a very
No
famous.
meat. There's no meat.
That's
Everybody from any part of like South Brooklyn, where he grew up, where I grew up, went to Spumoni.
It's a very famous spot.
But all right, go ahead, Mike. Give them the 3 choices.
So outside of Spumoni Gardens,
Okay.
me and Bo put together a list of 3 of what we think could be the best pizzerias in New York City. So
in Brooklyn. One's
one's not in Brooklyn. Totino's, DeFara's, and Joe's on Beakers. Excuse me.
Bleecker.
What was the first one?
Totino's and Coney Island.
Okay, yeah. Oh man, Totino's, Joe's, and sorry, my eyesight's
DeFara's.
bad.
DeFara's.
I'm gonna keep Joe's. I'm gonna cut DeFara's, and I'm gonna trade. I've never been there.
You haven't been to Totino's?
No.
So that's a trade.
That's a
DeFara's is the guy who owned it was there. It was his old guy.
Yes, that's
but
where
he
you
died,
went
and
over the summer.
I went this summer, and it wasn't as good.
Yeah.